Hello everybody, I'm Kyle Edward from This Is Drive, and today you and I will be taking a close look and review of the 2018 Toyota Prius Prime. Now the Prime is very similar to the standard Prius in that it looks very similar, drives pretty much the same, except for one big factor, and that is the Prime is the plug-in hybrid version of the standard Prius. Now the Prime actually gives us, it's rated at 25 miles of electric range, but while I've been driving it, I've actually been seeing 29 to 30 miles of electric range per plug-in. And the other nice thing is that it can fully charge within 2 hours. So if you think about a lot of us commuting to work from home, a lot of us don't actually drive 30 miles one way. So if you think about you charge the car at home, you drive to work, you plug in when you get to work, you're basically on this cycle of pure electric driving. Now of course I have gone over that, and in that case the generator kicks in and allows us to obviously power the car as well. And combined between all of my driving this week, we've been going about 400 miles, and when you combine the electric along with the generator, we've been actually seeing about 86 miles to the gallon on average when we kick in on the generator. Very strong fuel economy numbers. The Prime is really the answer to sort of that in-between car, right? So we don't want to go full electric, but yet we want something more than a hybrid, and that's where this vehicle comes into play. The Prime is available in 3 different trim levels. You have the Plus, which is the base, starts around $27,000. Then in the middle we have the Premium, which I strongly suggest, as it includes the really cool infotainment system in the center stack area. The base model, which is the Plus, does not have that. It has the standard Prius infotainment system, which is okay, but definitely, going for the premium model with it not costing that much more money, definitely the way to go. And then we have all the way up to the advanced model, starting at $33,100. Has a lot of cool features. Has a heads-up display, intelligent clearance sonar, parking assist, blind spot monitoring, LED fog lights, all of the cool standard stuff that you see on the high trim level of vehicles. Now the interior across the board, again, is pretty similar, except for the fact that the Plus, again, which is the base model, does not have, again, that cool large infotainment system. The Plus also does not have leather seats, but at the same time, we're in a Prius here. I'm not expecting true luxury or anything like that. So I think for most buyers, they will find the interior to be fairly tasteful. It's somewhat futuristic or odd, especially with how we have all the front gauges, which sit high up in the middle of the dashboard, where you have things like your miles per hour, your odometer, average fuel range. Then in the middle we have our Eco Score area. It lets us know how economically friendly we're driving the vehicle. It rates us on things such as acceleration, cruising, and stopping. Then to the right of that we actually have where we see our park, reverse, neutral, and drive selector. The gear shift is actually below the infotainment system, somewhat of a standard Prius look, very different selector. It's blue, has these interesting lines on it, and it's at first glance you're like, what is that? And you're like, oh, okay, that's the selector. There's also a button for park, which I like. You just press the button to engage park. It's push to start. And then to the right of the gear selector we have some different drive modes. There's eco, normal, and power. They frankly don't make much of a difference, considering this car is really set up for obviously economical driving. The power mode does give you just a tad bit more off the line, but again, really nothing to write home about. You can have an either auto EV mode, which I always stick it in for when it sort of decides on when to use the electric for the most efficiency. And I found that for the most part it really does run in electric all the time. Unless you're on the freeway accelerating, it will switch off into a little bit of the generator gen mode. On this car though, as a base model, we actually still have the laser guided cruise control or distance guided cruise control, so you can set a range in front of you. We have lane departure warning, which is nice. And so, again, we get a few features, which I was surprised again to have the distance-guided cruise control at such, a relatively inexpensive car. That was a nice surprise. Now, as far as the interior design and quality go, I'd say it's pretty standard for this segment. It's definitely going to appeal to most of the Prius buyers that are out there right now. And yeah, it's still that quirky, unique design that's very reminiscent of previous Prius models. And well, most people might find it a little bit too strange. Again, the majority of the consumer base for this car will probably like it. Now again, I think my biggest complaint about the interior would be that the base model lacks the 11.6 inch HD multimedia entertainment display, which is available again on the premium and advanced models. Yeah, obviously it's slow, right? It's a slower vehicle, but in recent years, between the past couple of models that have come out, and we're gonna take it for a drive right now and give you some more driving impressions, but it's actually pretty darn good in my opinion. It handles really nicely, really tight steering, since it does sit so low to the ground, has low center of gravity, so great for handling purposes. And yeah, it is slow. It's definitely not fast, and even considering the segment, it's definitely one of the slower models. But again, for the buyer base of this vehicle, we're not going to be really too concerned about 0 to 60 times. We are, however, going to be more concerned about efficiency, and that's where this car again really just pulls ahead. And Toyota does such a good job at making the whole transition of so incredibly smooth between the electric driving and when the generator kicks in. I say that Toyota really wins an award for making again the best CVT transmissions in the business, which is also something that a lot of times I really dislike. I'm sure a lot of people don't like the continuously variable trans, especially in the automotive journalism world. However, in this car, it's never annoyed me because again, it's so smooth. It's not terribly whiny or loud either, especially even when you step on the gas. It's still not bad. And that's again what's the most annoying thing to me whenever I'm driving one of these, but that's really not a problem in this vehicle. So again, the refinement, the level of refinement that Toyota has put into the Prius and Prius Prime, really second to none in my opinion. They've been doing it so long, they've been the leader at this for a very long time. They've really been able to fine-tune everything and how it all works and comes together to find a perfect combination. And that's why the Prius is one of the best-selling cars in their lineup, one of the best-selling hybrids altogether ever. So when you consider all of those things, this car becomes obviously very appealing to a lot of people. They've also done an excellent job with the regenerative braking and braking feel. A lot of times on other cars, especially with the regen braking, the pedal actuated and how that's put together can be a little bit strange. It's sometimes a little bit abrupt when it goes from regen to full braking mode. Again, not a problem on this car. And that's again what I like to speak to the level of refinement that was put into just the design and execution from an engineering standpoint, from the entire powertrain setup, how that is, the braking, the steering feel, and everything. Really well thought out, where you'd hardly even notice that you're driving a hybrid, which is, I think, what a lot of people are looking for and going for in this segment. Altogether, I think the 2018 Toyota Prius Prime really makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, considering the nearly 30 miles of full electric range. It's a low starting price of under $30,000, $27,100 for the base model with that electric driving range. I mean, depending on your commute, you could be driving all electric all the time, which is really great. And again, for not a lot of money either. We have some excellent warranties with this Toyota, good reliability, a lot of nice features and creature comforts too, even at the base level. And that's something, again, with cars becoming more and more expensive these days, the plug-in hybrid option here, again, for under $30,000 does make a lot of sense.